You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. After his record-setting performance on Saturday, running back Ty Davis-Price has been named the SEC Offensive Player of the Week and the Walter Camp National Offensive Player of the Week. How about that? I mean, LSU couldn't run for 20 yards against McNeese. FCS McNeese. And here they go the last 2 weeks against Kentucky and Florida. And all of a sudden, they get a little mojo on the ground. First and foremost, huge hat tip to Ty Davis-Price. When the running game was struggling earlier in the season, I don't know if it's fair to say he took a lot of flack, but everyone was looking for opportunities or options to get the running game going. And the most obvious option was Corey Kiner because he was the guy having success. My hand's in the air. I said it. You got to play Corey Kiner. The offensive line couldn't block. He was the guy who was breaking tackles and making positive yards. They have figured something out in the last couple of weeks. There are people who could far better X and O it than I can. I think everyone at this point has talked about the counter plays. I think Cole Kublik had a really nice breakdown on Twitter of the counter plays that LSU's run. Look, man, if you're an offensive lineman that loves to pull, counter plays are a lot of fun, and LSU's done that successfully. I know that a big tip of the cap goes to Jack Marucci, who sort of charted that and brought that to the attention of the coaches, part of the reason that they're running it more. Ed Ogeron was asked on Monday, this is 8 if you wouldn't, so how the offensive line has just changed so quickly from a unit that was struggling mightily to the last 2 weeks playing pretty well.
I think you're seeing it, Wilson, as fast, okay? But I've seen it in practice in little increments. And ever since Coach Davis has come, and I know what he's trying to teach him, and I know the difference between him and Coach Craig. I can notice a difference, and it just took a little while for our guys to get used to. But I know what you're saying, that we're running the ball at a much better pace right now. But I've seen little increments in practice, like there's a bump combo. The guys are getting off the ball and attacking guys off of the football. And now he's put it all together, and finally, we're all healthy. I think you're seeing a combination of, I think Coach is a great coach, and we got some good players believing in his scheme, and they're healthy.
So you're running the right plays. Your offensive line is getting healthy. You've also got Jack Mashburn, which is an undeniable part of this. They actually let Jack Mashburn talk to the media today. We were talking about it before. This has to be, I cannot imagine if there has ever been a time prior where a walk-on tight end was made available to the media. Jack Mashburn was a high school quarterback at St. Paul's who's now put on weight and become a tight end at LSU. We talked about that.
Honestly, coming out of high school, I was planning on coming here and just playing football, seeing kind of what position they would throw me at. I was going to try to be quarterback at first, but they had the room full. So they switched me over to tight end. Last year, moved to receiver, then back to tight end this year. Had to gain a little bit of weight, and then it all took off from there. Just worked throughout the whole offseason, whole camp, during the season, and it all just kind of worked out.
The funniest thing, Jimmy Smith from Tiger Details posted this on Twitter earlier. This was it's a picture. It says 10-year-old Jack Mashburn at an LSU practice with some random. It's Jack Mashburn and Tyrann Mathieu. When Tyrann was, I guess, Tyrann, I don't know if Tyrann was at LSU at the time, maybe close to it, but from about a decade ago, just incredible, like how time goes and whatever the case may be. But it was a lot of fun watching this past weekend for all of the reasons, but certainly Ty Davis-Price. And the other thing with TDP is I was kind of looking through his better days rushing in his time at LSU. And look, the 287 was an LSU single game record. Yeah, he did it on 36 carries. So honestly, the day that Fournette had against Ole Miss, where he had like 285 on, was like 16 carries, it was ridiculous. But it doesn't take away. I mean, what Ty Davis-Price did on Saturday was amazing. Touchdown runs of 18, 40, and 25 yards. Averaged 8 yards a carry. the most rushing yards ever against the Florida Gators. Just remarkable what we saw. I mean, I've been asked, hey, do you think they figure something out? Can they replicate it? Like, can they replicate that? No. Let's get real, man. Like, it's the best rushing performance in the history of LSU. It's a team that couldn't even run for 20 yards against McNeese. But have they found some traction in the running game? That's the hope. TDP ran for 147 against Kentucky a week ago, and then the 287 against Florida. He ran for more yards against Florida than he had the previous 5 games combined. Stunning to see how this has all come together over the last 2 weeks. But one thing that I'm interested in, when you look at Ty Davis-Price in his 3 years at LSU, he's run for 100 yards 4 times. He's had 4 100-yard games. Against South Carolina in 2020, he had 22 carries for 135. At Arkansas in 2020, he had 24 carries for 104. And then last week against Kentucky, 22 carries for 147. And then against Florida, 36 carries for 287. I don't need you to memorize all those stats, but there's one thing that should stand out. In each of those games, he went over 20 carries. 22, 24, 22, 36. Every time in his career. Every time. And by the way, those are the only games in Ty Davis-Price's career where he's gone over 20 carries. Every time in his career where he's had 20 carries or more, he's gone over 100 yards. And you might say, well, of course, makes sense, right? I mean, more carries, more yards. Not always. Maybe this is a guy that is a volume rusher that gets stronger as the game goes on, that needs 20, 25 carries to make his hay. Like, we're eager to rotate backs and get other guys in, and I get it. You got a lot of talented guys. Hey, divvy up throws. This might be the guy, though, who just is better with the bigger workload. That's going to be fascinating to see. But you've got a large enough sample size over 3 years to say you've given this guy 20 carries or more 4 times. Every time he's had that many carries, he's gone over 100 yards. 135, 104, 147, 287. Feed him. That might be your answer. By the way, Ole Miss's rush defense, 196 yards a game. How about play a little keep away from Matt Corral and the Ole Miss offense? How about shorten the game? How about feed Ty Davis-Price 35 times again? You might just replicate it. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.